UK has Britain's Got Talent. America has probably got something similar. And the rest of the world probably has their own kind of like award shows, their best shows, whatever. Super Sentai is in its 50th year, and they just did a huge poll of the best Sentai series, the best Rangers, the best you name it, it's probably in there to some degree. And today I'm going to be looking at everything. I checked out Deoxy's video and he showed me on Ranger Wiki it was there, because I was spending ages trying to find all of this on Twitter, a really good source for all of this, and it just took a long time. And because most of it is in Japan, it's behind a paywall, or you need a VPN to get there, which it's just a bit of a hassle. So I'm going to be using Ranger Wiki. Thank you, Deoxy, for showing me that it's on this, and we're going to be talking about a lot of them today. So let's go have a look. Here we are over at the Ranger Wiki. It is under All Sentai, Super Sentai Great Voting, and it says, a program as part of NHK's All Great Voting 2-hour program television series with the assistance of Toei as well as the others. It was produced in order to celebrate the Super Sentai 50th anniversary. Viewers of NHK from Japan as well as around the world were able to vote for their favorite series, Sentai Hero and Sentai Robo. Now, I will say this. This is what Japan thinks. So if you're like, but I want my series to win, it never happened, not unless you were in Japan, and voting is now closed. But we're going to be looking at what Ranger Wiki put out there, basically. Now, we're going to look at the Sentai series. Now, you've obviously seen the list, but let us begin. Now, Sun Vulcan, which was meant to come out over in the US originally before Zyuranger and My Morphing, is number 20. The costumes look fine. It's very weird. I've never seen it. So I don't know really how to be like, oh, is this worthy of the top 20? But one thing is, I generally thought Jetman, which comes in at number 19, would have actually been a lot higher, because the Jetman suits are really cool. The one scene from, I think it's the Black Condor, where he's been shot or stabbed or something, I generally thought that Jetman would be a lot higher in this one. But I love the suits, and number 19, absolutely fine. Now, I will say majority of these I have seen the Ranger counterparts. I've not actually sat down to watch a lot of these. Some do interest me, some don't, but it's always a thing. So Time Ranger, only watched Time Force, that was the only one, but at number 18, that's not too bad. Now, Gosei Sentai Die Ranger, only ever seen Mighty Morphing Season 2, where they use elements from it, and obviously some of the monsters and stuff. But yeah, I have never watched Die Ranger. It's never interested me whatsoever. So I know people are going to be like, but you need to watch it. Watch it in the comments. You need to watch along. No, I just have no interest in Die Ranger. Okay, next one at number 16 is Mashin Sentai Kira Major. 16 is not a bad place. I started to watch it. I watched episode 0, and I didn't like the way that the Red Ranger was. I know he's happy-go-lucky. I know that everybody likes him. I never really liked it, and yeah, I may at some point watch it in time, but it's not on my, hey, I need to watch this straight away. So yeah, but 16 is not a bad one. Okay, now, Engine Sentai Go-Onja. This is one that I actually started watching when I was in university. Crazy how much time it is. And I got up to a certain part and then I just stopped watching. And I generally liked a lot of what it was, but I think to me, I was kind of a bit, like I stopped watching it thinking, okay, I'm going to come back to this, but then work got in the way of like university, and I never kind of like kept up with it. So I kind of I left it for what it was and never went back. And I don't really have any intentions of kind of revisiting it. I see that the Red Ranger, he goes around a lot, and I actually like what he is doing and how he is as a person. And it's nice to see that Go-Onja is now getting a bit more love. So yeah, I think 15 is a fantastic way of putting it. Okay, Maho Sentai Magi Ranger, really loved some of the elements from it. I really liked what they did, and I haven't watched it all the way through, but I did love Mystic Force. Think it was absolutely fantastic series. But yeah, I never kind of really got behind it, but absolutely think it looks like a banger of a series. And I think Magi Ranger is coming up as is it like a memorial issue thing soon? If they do, I think that'd be kind of cool. Okay, so the next one is Go Busters. Now, this one, it was very weird because after seeing what Gokaiger had done, I absolutely thought that this was going to be a good series. So I watched a little bit of it. I could never really get into it. Beast Morphers is probably the only one forward for it that I actually generally liked some of the footage, and it looked absolutely fantastic. But when it came to Go Busters, I thought that after you've had the big, like one of the biggest Sentais, one of the biggest ways of doing stuff, it was so weird. Like you went from Rangers being able to turn into past Rangers to then just Go Buster turning up, and it was up and down. And I really feel sorry for their toy line as well, because the way that I saw all this was Gokaiger ran slightly into their toy line because they were like bringing out keys a lot. So I feel like maybe the sales of Go Buster kind of tanked a bit if they did, because yeah, I really wanted them to succeed, but I felt like it was really hard to follow in the footsteps of Gokaiger. And yeah, maybe one day I will go back and watch this, but I really don't know. Okay, so Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger. Alien Rangers for everyone, but yeah, like this wasn't too bad. I never really watched it. I may go back and actually check this one out or try and find a place to watch this, because I am kind of curious, because obviously I want to know how they did their Zords or their Robos, and I think it'd be kind of cool to see what they were doing with it. And I generally love the Shogun Zord, and I think maybe the Ninja Zord in it as well, but I kind of really want to go and have a look. It sort of kind of interested me, and I know that we've got the 10 years later one that did the kind of the special. So yeah, I'm very curious on that one, so I might go and watch that one and see what it's like. So number 11, Senkaiger. Okay, I generally like the suit of Kaito, I really do, and I love the fact of they try to do something a little bit different due to the fact that COVID was around. So for them to kind of have the suits have something a little bit different, I generally really liked it. But watching it every single week, it really kind of frustrated me after a time, because it felt like it was a silly Sentai, and I felt like I couldn't really superly get into it. I loved the gimmick, I loved the suits, I didn't really like what was happening. And I think one thing that really annoyed me was, like, for every single time that the others got like the guns, the Gearlinger, when they were using it and when they first got it, they would shoot one of the grunts. And I think the last one where they tried to get Vrun in and he just didn't do it, I felt like that to me was like a major letdown, because that could have been really, really funny to keep that gag going. But the stories kind of like felt down. I didn't really enjoy it that much, and I felt like it was just a Sentai that I didn't really kind of generally enjoy. So yeah, I can see why people liked it and everything, but yeah, the only thing I could say is like the suits were great. I love the memorial items. I have to get a Gearlinger, and I really love the way that it would like scream out. I generally like that, and I think I still need to pick up the memorial one for Zox. But yeah, for a part of this, some of it was good, some of it was but yeah, Senkaiger, I am not surprised it's on the list. Hitsumu Sentai Go Ranger, and now, not surprised, number 1 is on here. I guarantee if this was a Power Ranger list, Mighty Morphing would be somewhere around here. But generally kind of looking at this one, it doesn't really surprise me. Out of all the times that I've been checking in on Super Sentai or watching Sentai over the years, I feel like this has been a staple. Like when they've had big events, when obviously you had Gokaiger, when you had the Kamen Rider versus Super Sentai movie, and all those sorts of things, they bring back Aka Red, which I absolutely enjoy. And also seeing the fact that for the 50th anniversary, they brought back all of them on the Go Ranger. Is it Go Ranger or Go Renanger? I'm going to call it Go Ranger. But kind of seeing all of that, like seeing that they're still here 50 years on, I generally would like to see if they would do something about it, if they were to make a one-off special. It would be kind of really cool. If not, absolutely fine. But if it wasn't for these guys, we wouldn't have Power Rangers today. Okay, number 9 is Rasha Sentai Tokuja. I generally think this is the one Sentai that Power Rangers takes things from. Oh, we like this, gonna take that. Oh, you like that? Bad guy, take it from here. And I kind of watched a little bit, and I love the fact that all the comments that I've seen, and I've done a video if you want to go check it out, which is the editing this into Power Rangers, which I think is really, really easy to do. But the way that everyone's like, well, we can't have Tokuja because they have that one penis, and that's the only reason why we can't have it, or the second reason. Like, but yeah, it's one of the main reasons why we can't have it, because that one scene that they'll have to like leave in, and it will be like detrimental, and kids will hate it, and you know, blah blah blah. It's the one same thing. The other one is that, you know, America unfortunately doesn't like trains, and when you're marketing this for kids, it's a whole thing. But to see that like Tokuja is actually here, I actually generally think it's a pretty cool one. So I'm glad it's there. I'm still glad it's getting some love. So this is Kyuja. I never really kind of got into this one. I like the suits and I think they're really, really cool. But I think in general, I never could really watch this one. I watched Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge, and that was like the furthest one that I would get. That was the only one that I generally thought, do you know what? Yeah, this is absolutely fine. But yeah, I just never really got behind it. Never much of a huge fan of it. So yeah, but having it at number 8, I think that's pretty cool. Deca Ranger. I watched SPD. So I never really had a way to go back and think, okay, I'm going to watch Deca Ranger. It's just another Sentai that personally absolutely would not really care about. And I know everyone's gonna be like, Shadow Ranger, you know, or Deca Master, absolutely fun characters, absolutely think they're cool. And Deca Master is the one that I think always comes back the most out of all of them. But yeah, like this series hasn't really kind of caught me, and I don't think that I would actually generally sit down and watch it after watching SPD. Now, number 6 is Avato Sentai Don Brothers. Absolutely loved Don Brothers to bits. Thought it was a fantastic series. After the events of Zenkaija, I generally was like, oh, this is going to be more of the same. It's going to be shit. I'm not going to enjoy it. But I absolutely loved the entire series. And I don't think I did it every single week for review, and that's actually a shame. But I absolutely loved Don Brothers. I think Oni's sister was one of my favorite characters. I was at first wondering, like, could they adapt this for Power Rangers? And I think that they could, but they would have to kind of change little bits about it, mainly the CGI element. But I love seeing how from Zenkaija, when they started doing the CGI leading up to the giant robos, that you saw how many leaps and bounds like the CG got. And I feel like it was still a testing ground to see how it went. I absolutely love Don Brothers. It is one of the series that I bought, I think, all the Megazords or all the giant robos, including the gold one that was limited edition. As soon as I saw that bad boy, I was like, if I'm going to have any gold Megazord from any of the season, that bad boy is going to be the one. And I just love the fact that the whole Megazord could pose slightly different. I think they've gone back. Now, this is one thing I generally think is a massive bullshit thing that they put out. So before we move on to the next one. So when they did the Megazords, like one of the product designers kids was playing with the Megazord and went, why can't I make it like that? I think it was in Zenkaija or something. Then they decided, hey, yeah, we're going to make sure that this Megazord is posable. But I think after that, they just went back to standard, you know, standstill Megazord that doesn't really do anything. I'd have to kind of check. Maybe King Oja was slightly but again, I don't know if all the others, if they have gone back to that one. But I love the fact that with Don Brothers, they changed up how the articulation is on the Zords, and it's still one of my favorite. I love the Don Blaster. I love everything. And I think Don Momotaro is one of my top, I would say he's maybe the top second, third. I don't know yet. I'd have to do a tier list. But he is in my top 5 Rangers. Absolutely love it. Lupinranger versus Patranger is, I think, a fantastic series. It is, I think, the only Sentai that has made me kind of almost cry, and the emotional build-up. I think that you can watch major parts of the series to get a backstory on all of this, but you can skip a lot of it because it does, I think, at times get a little bit repetitive. But I love the camera angles when some of the scenes were fighting. I love the way that the story flowed. I love the way that you had both like 2 teams, and I thought it was going to be like, say, 40 number this or 40 number that, and it was, you know, 2 different teams on the Sentai, but no, they share the same number. This is a fantastic series, and it shows a lot to how you can form different characters, from going to the loner to the person that is very strict. And I just think this is fantastic. I loved every moment of Lupinranger versus Patranger. And I think it's the only Sentai where I've almost got every single item in the toy line. I think I'm just missing 2 items. But I absolutely adored this. I love the fact that, you know, for the relics that they were trying to find, the secret treasure, it was just repainted morphers or little things like that. But this series was absolutely fantastic. And I generally think that if Hasbro hadn't had their stance on, we don't like Rangers versus Rangers, and we can't have one as thieves, and I can understand that at least the police role of what was going on in that time, but I generally think that it would have been perfect to adapt. And I think that Hasbro should have just gone, fuck it, let's do it. Fantastic camera angles, absolutely loved it. So yeah, number 5, I generally wanted it to be a little bit higher, but number 5 I think is a good space for it. Patranger, never really watched. I absolutely can't stand the helmets. I think that's the only thing that really kind of puts me off, just the way that they were. I think that if you sunk the tires into the helmet a bit more, I think then it would have been absolutely fine. But when it came to this Sentai, not a big fan. I only watched the one with Gokaiger, one where they brought Joe back, and that is literally it. The morpher looks cool. I like some of the elements in it, but I generally just did not like the series. Okay, Shinkanger. Never watched Shinkanger. Pretty much the way that I was told about this is Samurai is a carbon copy of Shinkanger, so I generally watched that and thought, do you know what? That's absolutely fine. So to see it as number 3, I'm very kind of really, like, that's really surprising because I never thought Shinkanger would make it this far. Number 2, King Oja. Never liked it. Couldn't get into it. Thought it was interesting with the 3D elements, and like they filmed it on the big screen, like that massive studio that they had. Thought that was an interesting take on it because they could then generate what world they wanted. But for me, I just couldn't get into it. Once I see the tracking on the area being up and down, really couldn't do it. Like I want stuff flowing, and I know it was their first attempt, but to me, it was something that I didn't like. It just looked a bit weird. The suits look absolutely fire. Don't get me wrong. I think that's kind of cool. And the Megazord looks fine. And I like what they've done with it, but I could not get into it. But number 1 goes to Gokaiger. Gokaiger to me was my kind of like first major proper watch of everything. I love the gimmick, which I think is very hard to replicate. I don't think you'll ever come up with a better gimmick than the Ranger Keys. I loved the story. I loved everything about it. And it was one thing that kind of introduced me into like other Sentais to kind of look at it properly. And I thought that Gokaiger was one of the best like anniversary seasons in the world, and I absolutely thought it was fantastic. I watched it with people that I was with at the time that I'm no longer with now. I watched it with friends. I introduced it all the time. It is probably the only Sentai that I have bought multiple Mobirates due to the memorial stuff. I try to collect as many keys as I can. I think that just everything about this was fantastic, and I've loved every single special. I've loved that they've carried it on. I loved the way that you had some of the character development that was very much like, hey, we're going to take your powers, we don't give a shit, to actually, we're going to give you back. We actually kind of like you. And I just thought Gokaiger was a fantastic series. And I'm so tempted to break it down, talk about it, talk about the goods and the bad, because there are bad points to it, don't get me wrong. But I think Gokaiger was and is still one of the best Sentais. And I know everyone's like, but Gokaiger, it's just like Power Rangers. It's the MMPR of Power Rangers. I get it. I really do. But for what they did at that time was absolutely different. And I love the fact that you've brought back Marvelous, you've brought back AIM. Like, I haven't really seen much of Yellow. I know that she's done a lot of her voice acting, and she's been in like maybe one of the specials. I think that was with the Q Ranger, because she voiced one of the characters. But majority of the time, I've not seen Doc come back. We'll never see Guy come back whatsoever. But I loved Gokaiger to bits. I think it's one of the best. But I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this? Generally, are you a big fan of this entire list? If you could choose a top 20 of the seasons of your favorite ones, what would you put? Let me know down below in the comments and let's discuss. And while you're down there, why not hit the like button and subscribe? I'm trying to reach 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know we can do it. So thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。